everyone. Welcome to Land and Sea. I'm Jane Adey. This week we're on Fogo Island in the community of Tilting. We're in town for a festival celebrating a rich Irish culture that took root here 300 years ago and is still vibrant today. Tilting is one of those special end-of-the-road places that can bring you back in time. Traditions survive in part because of its remoteness. To arrive here involves a ferry ride to Fogo Island, an easterly island off of Newfoundland. If you drive all the way east on that island, you'll touch down in Tilting. There's no mistaking the customary color here. Most of the sheds and stages wear layers of ochre, a rich hue that harkens back to the fishery of bygone days. There are other punchy pigments flattering the harbor, and a scattered salute to the Newfoundland Republic dancing in the wind. But flapping on most flagpoles here, you'll spy green, white, and orange. And during 1 week each year in mid-September, you could easily mistake Tilting for a town on the Emerald Isle. This festival, or Féile in the Irish language, brings out the shamrocks and the smiles. After the parade, there's a gathering at the parish hall, named, naturally, for Ireland's primary patron saint. There are always a few meals shared here during FéileTilting. Another festival tradition? Remembering the original settlers with a gathering at the community's old Irish cemetery.
John Carroll came and he married Anastasia Sexton. That was our great-grandfather.
Everyone in the community knows their connection back to the homeland.
Okay, so I'm a Burke, Cyril Burke. We could trace the Burkes back to Thomas Burke, who came out of Dungarvan, County Waterford, in 1752.
Michael Green's headstone still stands. His ancestor is Al Dwyer.
We came to Tilting in 1815, born in a town called Cardigan-sur in Tipperary.
John Green is a descendant of Michael Green too.
Tilting was established on or about 1728.
John has written extensively on the genealogy of Tilting and the history of the settlement.
Everybody says, the Irish came direct. We like to think we did. Even when I was growing up, I thought the Irish came direct. You hear the word direct all the time. But nobody did. They came by way of Trinity.
English merchants in Trinity, Newfoundland, established the fishery off of Tilting in Notre Dame Bay.
Every time they found a good harbour, they imported workers, servants they were called, to catch the fish in those harbours.
Many workers were from Ireland. They created a purely Irish settlement in Tilting and fished an area known as Durrell's Ledge.
Durrell's Ledge, it was a huge supply of fish, so much so that when they put down their hooks first, just like John Cabot explained it in 1497, it couldn't get to the bottom because of the fish. You just pull it back again with fish on it.
The work in the Newfoundland fishery took the Irish far away from home. At Green's Point in Tilting, a marker notes the distance to Ireland. 3,038 kilometers. Jim McGraw imagines memories of the motherland must have tugged at heartstrings.
I've thought about 200 years ago when those Irish immigrants were here and they were burying their loved ones, how many tears were shed and reminiscing about home in Ireland?
Jim understands the intensity of the pull. He felt it himself his first trip overseas.
The first time that I stepped on an Irish soil, there was a feeling come over me that said, good God, I'm home.
And visitors from Ireland who come to Tilting for the festival say they feel that same comfort on this side of the pond. Niall Wall first came here in 2008.
Coming to Newfoundland was like a warm embrace, and I was captured, and I keep coming back. And of course, the great thing about Newfoundland, for someone from Wexford like me, I don't have to slow down when I'm talking.
Niall was one of the people who suggested to locals in Tilting to have a féile to draw attention to the rich Irish heritage.
It's a celebration of the culture and identity of the island, and that's so attractive, it really is, and it's so rich, you know. And for us Irish to come over here, well, Ireland Irish, it's really affirming, because for people thousands of miles away who see a value in the shared identity, it means so much.
And for locals, the festival is a reminder of their dual identities.
Like myself, I'll say I'm of Irish descent. I'm an Irish Newfoundlander. And that's not to degrade any other origins that people came from, but we're just profoundly proud of being Irish.
Yeah, it still works.
When we come back, more from FéileTilting and how they share their culture with others. Tilting on Fogo Island is unmistakably a Newfoundland outport. And there are other reminders here of a culture that reaches even farther back in time. During a weekend festival called FéileTilting, there's a celebration of Irish heritage.
Nice and balanced.
At the local craft store, there are demonstrations of traditional skills.
If it wasn't good enough to go into clothing, then it would go into a quilt. Yep. As you see all around here, all kinds of quilts. And if it wasn't good enough for a quilt, it went into a floral rug. So they didn't waste the thing, they used everything.
Yes.
The Irish who arrived in Tilting were self-sufficient in other ways too.
I got most of my potatoes stored, maybe 400 or 500 pounds in the shed, which will be moved to the cellar. I'll have a root cellar.
In a grassy place called Oliver's Cove, Al Dwyer talks about vegetable gardens of the present and the past.
I think when the Irish came and settled here, they must have been very happy to find this stretch of wonderful land, because they needed good land to to grow crops and survive.
Oh, another one.
You can see how the soil is. There's no rock in the soil, which is remarkable, And they built those picket fences to mark their plot. The garden that I'm standing in now, I'm not sure who the early Irish ancestor was, but it's been passed right down to me through 5 generations.
Land was passed down, and so was language.
I'll scurravunge you if you ever says that anymore. In other words, I'm going to give you a hard time. I'll scurravunge you, I'll scourge you.
Or he got that scurravunge.
Or he got that scurravunged.
An afternoon gathering at St. Patrick's Hall is a treat for the ears. Locals Jim McGraw and John Green spend time with visitors from Ireland. They talk about similarities of accents and words, despite a wide ocean of separation.
So my name's Alana. So I'm a native speaker. Both my parents are native speakers, so I was brought up with the language, and yeah, I'm just delighted to be here.
When the Irish came to Tilting, a lot of them were Irish speaking. I've got, just to give you one word, don't know if the people from Ireland would have heard it. My mother used to use it regularly, and the word was Engashore.
Yes,
You miserable Engashore, they used to say. Now, I got her to spell it for me one time, and it was A-I-N-N-I-S-E-O-I-R.
EOI, that sounds Anishod. That's an Irish word. Actually, that's interesting because the word Anish, now they say this actually down in Kerry. It's actually in the Munster dialect, Tashe Shin Gohanish, which means, oh, that's really bad.
Yeah.
What about a clatter? He gave me an offer clatter.
Clatter.
A clatter.
Yes,
Clatter on the
yeah.
head.
Oh, God,
Clatter on the
yeah.
side of the head or clatter.
A clatter.
Now, what we'd probably end up saying, you know, I'm going to beat the head off you.
Anybody was on the go all the time, as if they didn't know where they belonged, you know, seemed to be out on the roads all the time. What did we call him? We used to say, he's on the Shakaran.
Like Shachron.
Oh, that's it, Shachron, yeah.
So Shachron is the Irish word for you're exactly, you don't know where you're going. You could say Shachron. You could say Shachron Chuma Intin. My mind went wandering. I went daydreaming, basically. Like my mind, but Shachron, Chuime Shachron. I went wandering around.
So we changed the pronunciation a little bit.
I think it's like amazing just to be sitting here with you, and even some of the Irish expressions that have originated from the Irish language. It just shows how alive it was years ago, and it's just amazing that it's still here and alive, and that you're still using it, and it's really cool, really interesting.
I'm just wondering about the next generation, so your children. Do they use any of these expressions?
There's going to be a lot of it lost.
Is there? Yeah.
Intangible expressions may be hard to hold on to, but Tilting prides itself on protecting structures and houses. Visitors are invited inside old homes in the community.
When we started to do it, we kept in mind that we would like to keep it as original as possible, right? We were able to do that because all the furnishings were here, right? Everything, including the holy picture, was the Sacred Heart was here when I was growing up. Everyone in Tilting had
You
one of
wouldn't
those.
dare take it down.
There are walking tours outside too, and reminders of people who left to come here so long ago.
Well, Michael Green from Tipperary would be my great-great-grandfather. And Michael Green built his house down there where some are probably where the yellow house is too. So we call that Green's Point, after Michael Green, the man from Tipperary. It's a long way to Tipperary.
A long way to the old country for sure, but for those who visit from Ireland, the similarities are striking.
It's very interesting just looking over there, the geology, that could be very, very like a place in Ireland called Connemara, which is on the west coast.
And I've done tours with a number of Irish people, and I've travelled Ireland myself 3 times in Connemara, and same thing. They said, and it reminded me, except the land was higher, the mountains, we had sort of the hills here.
Yeah.
Paul O'Keneela is a travel journalist with the Irish Independent. He's gathering elements for a story all about the Irish connections in Newfoundland.
I was really surprised by the accents. If you close your eyes and listen to people speaking in the Southern Shore or in Tilting, you really could be at home in Waterford or Tipperary or Kilkenny or places like that. Then the deeper you go into it and you realise the sort of the connections that survive through the food, through the music, the fishing, the communities like that. So what's extraordinary about it is how small and how vibrant and how connected it is, because a lot of Irish emigration, is to bigger cities and places where there's really diverse communities, lots of other emigration, lots of other cultures and so on. So to find such concentrated little nuggets of it is really interesting and surprising.
What's not surprising is that FéileTilting also celebrates Irish and Newfoundland music. When we come back, we'll tag along for a party. On Fogo Island, only 130 souls call tilting home year-round. So when a big crowd shows up for an Irish festival in September, the energy here rises. Trouble is, there's no pub to go to blow off steam. But what tilting lacks in watering holes, it more than makes up for in outbuildings. So instead of a FéileTilting pub crawl, groups of festival goers travel around to sheds. Maureen Foley is prepping hers for a raucous night.
So we have 5 groups of people will visit 5 different sheds. And they will stay in that shed for 30 to 35 minutes and listen to the music. Some people might want to get up and sing along with the music, some might want to dance. We've had big numbers from time to time, but we try to cap it at 40 per group, right? So this morning before I was even out of bed, my phone started. And okay, we have 2 more. Okay, we have 2 more. And our motto is we can't turn anyone away because it's too much fun, right? You don't want to miss, I wouldn't want to miss it. And so now it's 45 in each group.
Just after the sun sets, the fun begins. The sheds are cinched, standing room only.
He was born and reared in Ireland, in a place called Castlemaine. He was his father's only son, his mother's pride and joy. And dear, indeed, his parents loved the white and lonely one. At you. A 60. It's so good to bring together music and friends.
Come on aboard, boys. Just shut the door behind us because we're cool. We're cool. We got no heat on, eh? I'll trade all the night to all those stories somewhere yesterday.
The singing and dancing takes them well into the night. And the light of Sunday brings sober reflection. The festival draws attention to the richness of the Irish culture here, but the tenacious people of Tilting are getting on in years. What will become of this special place those newcomers first treasured 300 years ago?
We can say that 99% certainty the Hawkins were the first settlers here.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't
Yeah,
it?
they had the level land, the deep water, and the brook.
Yeah.
Right
True.
there, right
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Had everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what they were doing?
Yeah.
John Green and Jim McGraw feel lucky to have grown up here. Sharing this place and its history with others brings a smile to their Irish eyes.
When somebody says, you know, what a lovely place you have here, and what a lovely culture, and what a lovely place to have been raised, you know. So
These are good words to hear.
They wish words were enough to protect their way of life.
Tilting is under stress, like most outports, or almost not, probably all outports, are facing the challenge of survival, and Tilting perhaps more than any other outport in Newfoundland, because we're on an island, you know, and that brings special challenges. It's worth preserving, but a way to preserve it must be found.
Typical Newfoundland, we've had lots of ups and downs, but we got no intention of throwing in the towel, and hopefully down the road some other people will step up and carry on the traditions and be willing to plug in and keep moving ahead.
For now, they'll rely on the characteristics that have always seen the Irish through challenging times: their humor, their sense of community, strength of character, and resilience. If their ancestors ever worried their Irish culture would be lost in this faraway place, their descendants have surely done them proud.